Hello, I think I'm live. Hello, 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 YouTube. Yes, wonky camera. I really miss that old YouTube stream setup where you could see your desk before you push the button live, because then you could do all these adjustments. Oops. Okay, we're sort of squared now. Yeah. Well, happy Easter. Got a tiny, tiny Easter bunny decoration right here. Last week we were I was talking about Lynda Barry, and I got two of her books, the syllabus and then the making comics, and it was received so well in the community talking about Lynda Barry. So I guess I'm just going to keep on down that road and just do a stream today about the most important thing in my whole Lynda Barry universe, which is the setting up and making, I will call it an art journal, but she calls it her daily diary. But the word diary to me is more like journaling, having a journaling book like this filled with text, rant, sentences. So I like the word art journal better. So, yeah. Today we're going to work with page 60 in her book syllabus, and it's all about how she taught her students. She was a professor in Wisconsin, I think, and she had a task to all her students about getting some comp books done during the semester. And a comp book, I'm so lucky that Janet M. Young sent me these different style of composition books, so I can just briefly go over the comp books, what I know, what I got on my desk. I saw a stream from Paula, the journal artista. She was talking about that paper quality of the comp book has changed. She has been using comp books for like a decade or even more, I don't know. But she kind of, is experienced with the paper quality, and she found a brand where they still have the old paper that they used to use in the old comp books. Hi, Barb and Anne. Yeah, it's Friday and it's monster day. This composition book, I maybe Janet bought it recently, but it's like the new paper, so it's like very thin paper, lots of bleed throughs. This is a graph composition book. This is a wide rule composition book, and this is just the normal ruled composition book. But the difference between the wide and the normal composition book is not that huge. I mean, it's not that crazy wide compared to the normal, but it is a little bit different. So, but yeah, welcome to my stream. Hi Dar, hi Kimberly. Wow, thank you. Hi Janet. I got whatever the store had because I'm like that. Yes. But don't you guys recall that Paula, she mentioned that the paper quality in comp books were different? So she actually managed to dig up a brand that had like thicker paper so that you won't have bleed through. Because today I'm going to talk about how to set up the daily diary in Lynda Barry style. And I want to start this whole stream by talking about comp books and how thin the paper is. So if you really dislike bleed through a lot, you could start prepping up your comp book by gluing pages together. I've seen it on YouTube. People just take ordinary glue stick, and the way they do it in order to get a book where the pages behave somewhat normal like this is that they start up and then they glue two pages together. So they put glue on this side, and then now comes the important thing. Then they turn this page over and burnish it down. So can you imagine how every page is getting burnished to the left? And then when they reach the center of the book, they start burnishing to the right. So once again, glue on one page and then burnish it down. Then you will have a thicker page. Pro and con. The pro is that, of course, you will have like less bleed through, but the con is that you don't get a crinkly book. There's something about this crinkling when you use these thin pages, the way that they sound when you flip and flap. And it also becomes significantly more like fluffy. So it's up to you how you want to set up your comp book before you start setting it up as an art journal. So many people in chat. Oh my god, this is like full house. Hello, Devon. Enjoy your day off. Hi, Gail. Let's see, did I miss anyone? Okay, you're gonna play along. Oh, perfect, Kimberly. You're always spot on. Like game on. It's called. Let me see. Hey, guys, if CB turns up in chat, it's her birthday. So remember to greet her with a happy birthday. Well, we're going to talk about page 60 in the syllabus. And that's like the most important chapter in the whole Lynda Barry book series that I have encountered, because it made me stop reading and start doing. Because there is a lot of filled out pages with exercise and everything in the Lynda Barry books. And I must admit, it's not a book that you can read from page one to the last. It's very confusing to read like that. And I thought that I would stop at some of the exercising, thinking, oh, I want to do that. That's easy. I can do that. But what really made me pause and do something was when I reached page 60. They were talking about keeping a daily diary that would help you notice your life. And it made sense in my world. First of all, I'm like a super planner girl. So if anybody got an excuse to start up some sort of a daily task planner, I am game on. And this is different because it's got focus on art related things, teaching you how to be more observant in daily day life. So it was not going to be like, let me show you this is a usual planner set up for a girl like me, a place where I can rant or be grateful for things. And then, of course, the real planner where you put in all the boring tasks, to do, to die, what you did. So having an extra setup where you could focus only on the creative things, like what you watch on YouTube, what you're drawing, what kind of artist you're looking towards. If you saw something exciting and then you're thinking, oh, I need to write it down and get back. For instance, for me, it was beading. I saw an upload about beading and I was thinking, oh, that looks really fun. I need to get back to that. But if you don't write it down somewhere, you just forget it. Are you gonna greet her with Chippendale dance? That's so good. I hope she comes in. Hi, Janice. But anyway, before I get to you know how I would do my daily diary, I think that I should mention some of her pages here, and I hope that I'm not violating any copyright rules by just reading up from her book. I hope not. She suggests that you take a comp book and then you write down everything, and then she lists what is everything. And I'm just going to random read up something so you get an idea that you don't have a boring life. It's not like, oh, my life is so boring, I can't journal anything, because this is strange. Things you find, like quotes, glue or tape it in the book, doodles, what you hear, rant, if you saw a movie, insults, the news of the day. And it's just headliners. You don't have to go in and journal about it. You can just write something you heard, like a sentence that's kind of strange. She writes it in. And then things you regret saying out loud, things you wish you could say out loud, dreams, ticket stubs, and of course, articles and photos and recipes. And to me, it seems like you don't have to have everything on a spread. You can zone out into one thing, like if you went to the movies, your whole spread could be about that moment in the cinema. So and then comes this page that I really disliked. She talked about how you can set it up, and she put down some rules about spend only 6 minutes a day on this. So you have to spend 2.5 minutes on listing up what you did, 2.5 minutes listing up what you saw, 30 minutes of something you heard, and then 30 minutes of a quick drawing. To me, that's kind of, I mean, I can't work like that. I can't work with a timer on my table. And I dislike the proportion of drawing versus writing. I want to go for less text, more images. So I must admit that this page didn't spark my mojo, but this page did. Now she's talking about how you can set it up in a page where you put in this grid here, and then you can list up in list form, what you want to write about. And that's where I kind of like deviated, thinking like, I'm not sure that I can work like that. But I really like her pages about setting up rules also. Like you have to give yourself rules on how you're going to work in your diary format. Are you going to be um, like rule number one, no politics? That could be like a rule, right? So I prepped this page, and I called it syllabus page 60. Notice what you noticed. And I kept this empty because that's the rule of your composition book. And then, of course, I tried to sketch down her basic quick diary format, the 6 minute one, in case you guys want to follow it to the book. And then I worked on 3 other examples because there's a lot of ways to do this daily diary art journal style. And I really think if you guys are interested in doing it, that you should try keeping it up for scheduled time, say 1 month, because 1 month is actually a long time. Everyone here who has tried to participate in Inktober knows that when you start, you're like, full of gusto. You're like, can't wait for the next day, for the next prompt. And then a week after, your spark is on a downhill slope, and the last week is all about just doing it so you can say that you completed it. So take a month. Don't start prepping your whole composition book, when you have glued in all the pages together. Start writing like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and dates and month and everything, because who knows if you're going to keep it up throughout the whole book. And this is a really fat book, so it can contain at least like 6 months or something. So if I were you guys, I would try keeping this art journal for 30 days as a, a tester, like what do you experiment? Yeah. Miss Mary Berry. Hello. um and I think that I got 3 other examples that I want to share with you guys. First of all, back in 2020, that's when I got the Lynda Berry book, and I wanted to do my own Lynda Berry style. I set my rules that I can start with a page, and then I needed a tag to show me the date and the day. And because I wanted less writing, more images, I took a post-it notepad, just these post-it notepads, and glued in on each page. And that's where my text is going to be if I wanted to write sentences. So whatever I wanted to say that day in a sentence and not a headline, it had to be only this. And then this space over here could be for headliners, images. And because I know myself, if I start out a journal and I get pretty blank pages, I will stop using it. I know it sounds really awful, but I can set up a whole planner And if I suddenly haven't used it for 2 weeks, it's like that planner is dead. So to catch myself not to be in that rut, I decided to decorate all my pages before I started up my journal. So I was watching Debbie Epps because she has a YouTube channel, and back in 2020, she was decorating a lot of pages in actually a composition book. She used her jelly plate, stencils, markers, glued in pieces of paper. And what I did was that I prepped my composition book with jelly printed pages, and then stapled in my date tag and glued in my notepad piece of paper, and then it was ready. And my rules were that I should try and think in images. So now I'm gonna flip through my art journal, Lynda Barry style 2020, June, July. Look how thick it is. And the fun thing about flipping through this book is to see how I started out really motivated, and then the further you go to the back of this book, the less uh, creative it becomes. You could say that. So, okay, let's see if I'm missing something as yet. Uh, oh, I'm just gonna take off my blanket. I'm sitting with a blanket because it's like not hot, but not like super cold. You love the buckle? Oh yeah, it's just it was designed to be an expandable buckle. So it actually started out like really skinny. You can see how skinny a real comic book is. So doing the process, it just needed to be fatter and fatter and fatter. So I like it too. Okay, I'm gonna flip through really fast, but what I did was date tag, journal spot, and here they launched. There was like launch America, so I drew this capsule. You can see that this monster peeking outside. Apparently I jelly printed, and I hang out with my cat. So I'm trying to use images to, instead of writing I jelly printed today, I'm just trying to draw in what I did and what I watched. And here something I heard. In my family, they're a little bit crazy, but we had like a whole week. It was so frustrating where people in my family were talking an opposite talking game. Like if you wanted to say, "Ooh, I love trees," you would say, "I don't dislike trees," because it makes you think before you speak. So there were a lot of weird dinner conversations, and it was really hilarious. So I just tried to make an image about one of our dinner conversations. And then I was watching YouTube where somebody was showing some books, and then somebody in chat was like, "Oh, I really love them. I don't know if I should get them." And then suddenly Eileen burst in and wrote in big caps, "Just buy the damn books." So it cracked me up. So it's part of what I heard, what I saw, the Lynda Barry style. So I just drew Eileen's back then icon on the YouTube, and her yelling out, "Just buy the damn books." So hello, K Berg, and congratulations with the 1,000 subscribers. And here we got my want monster receiving yet another delivery from Amazon. Yeah. So as you can see, I'm trying to draw. Oh, this one was also hilarious. Here I expanded my text page journal because this needed explanation. My neighbor is like, really, he's got so much temper. And then he was yelling at the postman, saying something bad to him, and then the postman flicked him back and said, "Fuck you." And I know, I'm sorry for swearing, but it was like, I don't know. He's yelling at the postman for stopping outside his driveway, and everyone knows that it's a freaking postman. He will be gone in what, 2 minutes? So I guess that day the postman just had it with this angry man. And then now comes the funny thing. I'm standing behind this fence to my yard, and then I see my neighbor. He's going to respond to the postman for the first time ever saying fuck you to him. And what he chose to say is in Danish that he's a flying ass with ears. And that just cracked me up because if somebody served you a flicking finger and yelling fuck you at you, you have to pick from the top shelf of your most disgusting swear words. I mean, that's like a treat, you know? So why the heck would you choose to reply, yeah, and you are a flying ass with ears? So of course that image created in my brain was this flying ass with the ears. So really, really, really weird. It carried on to the next day where I was depicting this running ass with ears. So yeah, that's kind of funny to look at now. And then here, my hubby wanted to get my attention, and then I was a little bit difficult to respond. And then I suddenly hear him in the background saying, do I really need to jump up like the cat on your table to get your attention? It just cracked me up because it created this image of, you know, how cats are jumping up, you know, on your table, just like pet me now, attention now. So it just cracked me up, you know, having my hubby sit on my desk like a cat. Lena, I want to hear that word for the flying ass with ears. Du er en flyvende røv med ører. I mean, who yells that? I mean, who you have the whole bag of swear words to pick from, and then he picked that? It's so crazy. Hi, Kathy Albert. Let's see. Did I miss? I'm sorry. Hi, Janice. I did say hi to. um, what else? I'm gonna flip through really fast. Okay, this one was also actually a bit funny. We were talking career choices with my hubby and my son, and then my son, he was like, he was flipping through these catalogs about colleges and schools and stuff, and then he's like, there's not a single education that really speaks to me like, yes, I'm gonna do that. And then we were watching Vikings at the same time, and then in the evenings where we were watching an episode of the Vikings, my son suddenly burst out, now I know what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be this character, the oracle, because we don't have any oracles in our country. And so it would be like a new job, a new you know, like a niche in the employment market. And he would remember forever this sentence from Vikings whenever an oracle starts to speak with his client, he's saying, I have foreseen and first suffered. Like he has already seen something and already suffered for it. So it just cracked me up. And then we got a belt ocean called Kattegat, and cat in Denmark in Danish is like a cat in English. So it just brought an image about Miss Kattegat, our cat, as a Viking cat, you know. Yeah. And it's allowed in a journal like that because Lynda Barry write about it. Like if you get a crazy image because you hear something, put it in this journal, you know, it's for that. But okay, I'm just gonna now I'm gonna flip through all the pages instead of stopping because otherwise we will be here till end of Easter. Here I get pain in my fingers, so I don't write so much, but look how it helps me to have a pre-decorated background. This is what I'm talking about. This is not an empty page. Picture that I didn't prep the background, how empty this page would be and the following pages to come. Like this is the whole essence about why you should prep your comp book before start using it as a journal, because then you can actually take a picture of what happened that day. Keep in mind that because of arthritis I couldn't really like do something creative these days, so I received happy mail from Dee Dee. She drew this bird for me, the runner, so I took a picture of it, glued it in. uh Here I'm journaling about some what okay. Yeah. We had a giant rain flush. So we were painting the fence in the yard. And then after the rain was gone, it took off all the paint. So we had to start all over. So this is such a cool way of having an art journal with the pre-prepped pages. And these images here are from paintings that I actually painted that specific day. Here I'm out of order, I'm sick. So, more out of order. My cat. And you can just see how if I don't have anything that happened, I take a pretty picture of art supply because, yeah, that's what we do, right? And here my back hurts, and instead of writing that my back hurts, I try to illustrate that I cannot sit down today. Okay, now I'll go crazy. I really love this art journal because it shows me how out seeking a person that I was in 2020. Like I don't really notice how much I actually study other artists, but this journal gave me the feedback that, oh my god, I really am, like studying other people, because this is a study of Joseph Sibukovic. So I painted these with him. More Joseph Sibukovic. Now I'm going into Alvaro Castanet and painted this one. Here I'm looking at Tony White and painted these two paintings in watercolor. And here I'm actually looking at Penny Craig that day and read up about why he's doing these really empty paintings. And I painted that one. And more. This is the same image, but just with different colors. Yeah, I'm crazy like that. And here I'm talking about Terry Harrison's beaches and boats paintings. And here Carolyn Holman. And then I painted these two. More Carolyn Holman. I did a Dina Weekly mixed media thingy. And these are just like carrot people. So how cool is it that you can actually see, like here I'm studying Ninting Singh, and he's a hard name for me to recall. So it's just so cool that in this journal I can flip back and recall, oh yeah, that's his name, because sometimes I visit his channel so rarely that it just disappears from my search bar. But Paul Rubens, I'm studying him because I think it was so funny that I got Paul Rubens paints, but I don't really knew much about the Paul Rubens artist himself. So, okay, I'm just flipping through like really fast. But all these pictures are what I created that day. So when I'm flipping through, it works. It becomes this visual journal, less writing, more images, please. So I don't have to read a lot. I can just flip through, look at all the images, and see my joy for scrapbooking. For I was gifted a present from Kathy Berg, a soap. Here I'm working on a Kathy Arbor membership stream. So for me, my memory is linked into the image. I don't need a description of what it is, who inspired me, and why I'm doing this. It just comes right back at me. I mean, and hopefully I won't suffer from dementia in an early age. But I really love the way that this journal provides this also these mix of really likable images from my art room. My art supplies. Who don't like pictures of your own art supplies? I mean, that's just so yummy. Here I'm doing a pastel following a paint along from Dee Dee's stream. And here, Janet, she's painting a paint along. And can you see how this is my day, right? I'm watching Dee Dee, and then I watch Janet, and then it's just cool, 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 cool. Yeah, now it's getting to the end, and look, I changed it up. I'm using pattern papers here, and the whole idea is to use up scraps. This is a drawing that my hubby made. The whole idea here is not to go out and buy pretty ephemera and turning this into a glue book. It is simply to use up scraps because my pages were not prepped with the jelly printed pages. But isn't it cool to have like a visual journal where you try to use images to um, display your day? I think that's what Lynda Barry would love us to do, getting more, noticing more what we are actually doing, even though we feel that, oh, I did nothing today, I'm like a boring person to follow. You see how your journal evolves as you evolves. It's fun. Yes, that's true, Kathy. Like I started out, as I always do. I always start out like really good, with gusto, and then the end of the journal is just different. But that's one way of doing it. One way of changing from the basic format that's time based, only 6 minutes. You do it as a like an unlimited time. Like you can spend unlimited time doing it if you need that. Hi, Mariah. So, okay, now comes the, did I miss anything? Okay, rules. Of course, you need rules when you have a journal like this. One of the rules for this kind of journal is, please don't rant. I mean, don't put anything negative into this vacant, happy place. Keep it happy, bright, colorful. So that's why in the areas where I'm like really sick, I try not to rant about, oh, I'm sick. I just put out of order. I just even write just sick, sick, back hurts, um, out of order. So no ranting, no explanations for blank days, but uh, as a crutch, you have the already pre-prepped background, so it looks like it's filled out. It's not like an empty day. Um, don't turn it into a glue book. That's what I promised myself, because as soon as I start gluing in things, I go for the pretty, or even worse, I would set myself up for a theme, like a vintage theme. So, oh, everything in this journal is going to be tea-dyed and vintage, and then suddenly you're locked into a box. And then also change it if it becomes a task and not a joy. And I love that rule because I don't think that I ever have completed an Inktober. Hmm. No, I don't have, because it's just, you know, a big task to do and not really a joy sometimes if you're forced to do it. So that was my two rules for that journal. Now I want to show you a different kind of Lynda Barry style creative art journal that you can have. I'm calling it the investigating one supply per day. I would dare you to take 30 days in a composition book. Look at your stash. Try to divide your stash into 30 groups. Like if I just browse with my camera on my desk, can you see my desk? Acrostic, one supply. Ink, pens, ballpoint pens, one supply. Marker, one. Colored pencils, one. Tumbo markers, one. Gel pens, one. Like already here we got a selection of things that you could use for five of small stylus pens, water soluble woodies. We already have like for a whole week right here just on the table, and I haven't even touched watercolor or acrylic. And if you feel that, oh my god, I don't have like 30 different supplies, you can take, like, I'm a watercolor freak, so beyond the topic watercolor, I can take the novelty palettes versus the artist grade, or the granulating versus non-granulating. There's like tons of ways that you can split up within the same media, divided into three groups, for instance. So what why would you do that? Because it makes you investigate your stash, makes you fall in love with what you already have. And what I've done, I've actually had a task like that, and I want to show you how that kind of journal looks like. But the thing is, divide your supply into 30 units. Use one supply for one day in one page spread. And then if you don't know how to use it, you can always just swatch it. Just swatch it out and try if you can draw a drawing of how the art supply looks like. Give it a title. You can use a date tag. It's always good to have like a pattern for each page set up. So it's like, like Lynda Barry, she wants you to start your focus by making these spirals. The same when you're making an art journal. If you have a pattern, something you can do to set up the page before you actually work on it, it's getting you into the zone. So putting in the date tag, filling it out, putting in the title, drawing how the supply looks like, and swatching it out could be the same exercise as her swirling. And then you can write pro and con about this media. And I got inspired about this section pro and con here because I saw a stream from Janet M. Young when she was using art supplies that she rarely used. And then she was really quick about, I don't like these portfolios, but I do like these new color tools. She could really like compare things fast and easy. Like, I don't like this, I like this. And I think it's worth writing these things down. And let's say that you have a collection like this. These are the not Lynda, Jane Davenport aqua pastels. When you have worked a lot with new color tools, these are not the ones that you grab for because they're a little bit gritty. But there may be like these two shades right here that you think are different from your new color two sets. So this challenge here with where you're investigating your art supplies is also learning how to break up sets. You take a set, you pick the one or the two that you think these are cool, but the rest I got supplements for those. Put it away and let these one be in a basket. Can you imagine how, I'm the kind of person, I collect things in groups. I got my acrylic inks in this container. I don't do a lot of acrylic ink, but sometimes I think it could be nice to do white splatters with the white ink, but I don't, I'm so lazy, I don't want to get up and pick it out. But if I, for a whole month, took out that one white and put in a basket, then on your table you would have like a basket filled with supplies that are taken away from sets. For instance, these funny woodies right here. If you think it's really nice to work with the golden one, but you got supplements for the rest, then you could have like these things in your basket. And then maybe you will be inclined to use them more because now you got that one stick from this set. Even though I know people with OCD, they would be like, I don't think that I can take like one pencil out of my Prisma pen case, take it out of its home, and then put, in a different place. But we're not talking forever. We're just talking for a month, right? So take out your favorite stick if you're working with crayons. Leave it accessible on your table. And then if you want to draw something, it doesn't have to be like a fabulous piece. You can just draw like fantasy flowers, funny faces, or monsters. So, and now I want to show you guys a journal that I did that's got this as a backbone. This is also a dated art journal. I'm working with one supply. What I want to do in this journal is that I want to paint a face, one face every day. And then to twerk it up, I picked one art supply and draw one face. And I started with the same, like a date tag with a date on. I'm depicting a drawing of my supply. And some places, this is like a swatch, right? Because it's basically a swatch. Not a lot of text. This is markers. This is the Faber-Castell Pitt pen. This is Inktense. And I have my supply on one side, and then I have my drawing that I drew with it on the opposite side. This is a watercolor pencil set. What I discovered working with this was that, that's not bad to have in a go-to bag, because you can do a lot of things with watercolor pencils. You can write, you can do intricate drawings, you can do mark making, and of course you can like really do intricate eye areas and then wet it out with a wet brush so it becomes watercolor. So it's actually very pleasant to work with on the go. I would never have thought that. If I thought that I'm going to go outside sketching, I would grab watercolor, I wouldn't think my first choice would be like watercolor pencils. So that was a good one. This is just one pen, a Grapho. It's a soft pastel sepia stick. This is the aqua pastels. So look how I'm trying to swatch them out. So this is Magic Wands, still a pencil, not a watercolor pencil, but just a colored pencil. But if you have like several brands of colored pencils, you can also, use them as one item per page and not like just one page because it's one kind of item. This is their Mermaid Ink Markers. This is the peerless watercolor where I'm working on top of some, I think it's gesso texture. Oh my god, this is Posca pen. This is the Tombow markers. This is pastel crayons from Derwent, and I loved it so much, so I actually did 2 that day. This is Gelatos from Faber-Castell. And because it smears off, I just take page protectors and cut it down and put in between the pages. This is a gouache. It's totally stuck. Okay, there's 2. So this is just gouache. This is wax melted crayon. Wax crayons that I melt like Mary would, with a heat gun. This is acrylic. Both of these are acrylic. This is not done yet. This is watercolor. See how late in the game I start talking about watercolor in my journal. I went past through all these supplies, even though that I'm a watercolor fan. This is a graphitint. This is the colored charcoal pencils from Derwent. And this is, of course, Neocolor 2. This is an oil-based pencil sketch set I got in a tin box with 6 pencils. This is oil sticks. And this is pan pastel, and I chose the glittery ones to swatch and then use the regular ones to do my drawing. And this is the shimmery watercolor, homemade watercolors from Debbie Epps. And I'm using black watercolor paper that was gifted to me from Sandra. And this one is oil painting. Oh my god, I hope it's not stuck. Okay, this one needs to be glued down here. This is oil. So what I did was I simply just took a snippet from a canvas, gessoed on it, and then drew my tiny oil painting on top of it and let it dry elsewhere from the book, because it takes like eons for this to dry. And this is Magicals. Oh my god, what a mess. And this is a different set of oil sticks. They are from Senior, and they're super creamy. It's like painting with lipstick. So I thought, even though that I have portrayed something done in oil pastels, that this could be a separate page, because they are different to work with. And this is a special gift gifted to me from Janet and Young, my watercolor set, and with the Mission Gold. and then I drew a a face with it. This is just a ballpoint pen, and this is the Tim Holt distress markers. You know, the ones that, you know, like watercolor markers. So yeah, but that's a fun art journal, right? Like, can you see yourself having a journal like this? And you don't need to, like in this one, I had dated, everything is dated with the tab up here. You don't need to date this. This could be like an ongoing project, take you like half a year if you need to. But just, you know, take a take a tour of your art supplies, and then make it into an art journal. It's so creative. Okay, let me see in chat. You forget about your peel list all the time. Oh, you're getting them out now. Yeah, the peel list, you really easy forget. Especially if you're like, I'm like really tidy, you know, like everything needs a container and need to be put away because my hubby is really minimalistic. So he would get like totally anxious if he had to work in my studio. Um, so I forget it when it's out of sight, it's out of my mind. Let's see. Am I missing anything? No. CB didn't come in yet. I hope that CB comes so I can congratulate her with her birthday. Okay, that was the one called the investigating one supply per day. Now comes my third suggestion. Like, I call it focus. Lots of you are on a no spend um, journey, and lots of us got like daytime jobs, so our time is scarce. So when it comes to money and time, I think you could have it as a topic for your art journal, and also composition. This kind of art journal, I think I want to try it this year. You cut out a viewfinder that you make yourself, and then you learn yourself to crop things. I'm not talking about you have to go and paint it afterwards. Just begin to spend 1 month thinking in images, starting to crop with an imaginary viewfinder. You see a lot of painters that doing, you know, this how do do it, like this. Like they hold it up, and then what they're doing is that they're actually cropping their view. And our brain is so funny that when you notice a beautiful sunset and you start thinking about, if I had to paint this, I would definitely paint it from this angle, and I would cut out these buildings and those trees, and I would select this cropped surface for the whole painting. When you start your brain to ask your brain these things, your brain takes it to the next level. So before you know it, you also on the spot is starting to think about, hmm, I probably would start with a wash of something yellow. And then after that, I would introduce the red colors. And then as my last layer, I would use like a burnt umber mixed with an ultramarine to make on the edge of my cropped image the shadows of the buildings. And then suddenly, before you know it, you are actually standing on a spot, and in 1 second, giving yourself the recipe of an art piece. Like what to paint, where to crop it, in which order you would start the painting. But you need to focus on thinking these things, because if you don't ask your brain the first question, how would I crop it? You will not be leaded and guided to the second stage, which is, what colors would I start with? What substrate would I choose? What kind of media should it be, like acrylic or watercolor or colored pencil? So sometimes they say that you need a lot of practice. I think sometimes they're not talking about so much practice on paper, but also practice in mind. So you just have to learn to draw focus to it on your day. And I thought that it could be a wonderful task to have 30 days where you write down, today I saw this image that could be an awesome artwork. We're not talking about you have to do it, but just picture one thing each day that you would like to paint. Hi, Christopher. And if you think it's boring after 2 weeks, then comes another add on to that. You could start thinking about, what if I'm not just thinking still life? What if I'm thinking action? Like I'm tired of still life paintings or sunsets or landscapes. What about animals? And then you start focusing on how would be the best way of painting an animal in action, like the way it's walking or moving, or if it's a windy day, the birds that's flying up in the sky, and the way that they're formating a cluster flying away could be a way of symbolizing that it's windy in this direction. You know what I mean? Like you could start adding on to your image, so the image needs some sort of storytelling quality, because it's very difficult to move from still life to real life, because suddenly you need some movements in your images, and you need characters that are doing something, either walking towards you, away from the frame. So yeah, that's a good one. Okay, at this one, I thought that you could actually use the building bones from Lynda Barry, where you put your cross into your journal page, and then you divide it into the same sections as she likes to do, where you have did in time, saw composition, enabled budget, and drawing sketch. And let me explain these a little bit more. What you did, focus on time is scarce, because you got a lot of things in your life and you don't have much time to create in. You can start every day by opening up your history on YouTube and look at the day before, and then you write down, what did I see yesterday? And then just list it up. You saw something play with clay, and then you saw somebody making homemade jewelry, and then you saw like 7 videos of cute cats and puppies, and then you went to bed. Just listing it up give you a view about, I really seem to be relaxing in neutral gear when I'm watching kitties and puppies, and then just letting YouTube pick the next video. So it kind of give you a, a list of what are you actually watching, spending your time on. And here I wrote a note that it's only going to be art related things and not your list of porn. Actually look at your history. Yeah, that's frightening, right, Jen? Bec- because if you whine about, oh, I never have time, I want to do so much but I don't have time, then just look at your YouTube list from yesterday, and then you will find the time there. Okay, enabling, I think a lot of us is on a no spend budget. I've been that for quite a while, and I have learned that if I sleep on it, I might not buy it. Like, so promise yourself when you're doing this 30 days exercise that if you are enabled on a stream or wherever you're getting your enables from, don't buy it right away. Sleep on it and write it down. And it's very important to write it down, because the task here is to do it for 30 days. And then when you're finishing your art journal, you flip back and then you revisit this square here. And then you see, is it still relevant? Because this actually becomes a wish list. Like, if I was rich, I would have gotten this today, but I didn't. The days where you don't spend anything, you can celebrate this square by doodling like no spending, like really giving yourself a medal or a drawing of a star or something. So it also becomes when you're flipping through like a clap on the back, like, yeah, I did really good for a week because I got like stars and, you know, stuff like that on that square. Let me see. The 24-hour rule does really work. Yes, it does. Sleep on it. And if you can't sleep on it, then give yourself a budget limit. Everything over, let's just say $20, you have to sleep on for the next day. Here, sketch. I think when you're thinking about composition and you're walking around with your imaginary view cropper and you are taking it to the next level, like if I had to paint this, what kind of medium, substrate, what would I do in what order? You can do like a quick sketch down here. So, yeah, that could be a cool art journal. I think I'm gonna try it at least for just a week. So, yeah. But I wanted to show you guys working in my style with my Lynda Berry. A bit like this, like what did I do that day? What did I saw? What did I hear? And then a drawing about it. So I drew about my day last Monday. We went to the cinema, and this is how I think my spreads will be in my 2022 Lynda Berry art journal, because I tried the setup with one page, one day. So that's like 2 days here. Now I want to flip it over and try one day a whole spread. So not to get stuck into old ways or habits, I'm shuffling things up. So for 2020, I'm doing double spreads on one day, and I pick only the days that speaks to me in an image, like that I could journal about. I don't go like a slave, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like I have to do a spread each day. And I have in the back of my mind the Lynda Berry rule about um trying to fill up the whole page with crayons so you leave less white spaces. Let me see. I always ask, is it a want or a need? Oh, that's a good one, Kathy Arbor. Yeah, if you want it or if you need it. So, but most of my art supply is actually just wants, because everything can almost be substituted. So, yeah. But okay, that day, what we did was that I left my house. I think it counts. We went to the movie. What did we see? We saw Batman. And then I just noticed, because I'm a freak, that it was the 11th of April. We were sitting in seat 11 and row 6, and we were 11 minutes late. So 11 plus 11 plus 11 is like, when you take all the numbers together, you get the number 6, which is exactly my road, my row number. Yeah. I don't even know. I notice these things. So I write them down. I give them a place to live. It's not like I am using it for something, but since my brain noticed these numeric things in my daily day life, I want to honor it by at least giving it a shout out in a journal spread like this. um, okay, we were sitting in the cinema and we were watching Batman. And the poster for the Batman had these orange colors, so that's why I chose the background for the whole spread to be orange. And the train stopped on the way to the city where we're going to catch this movie. It stopped on the railroad track and waited for more than 20 minutes. So we were sitting there getting like really stressed, because it was the end of our working day. So we were like, oh my God, we're going to be late. And we were so hungry. We were planning on going crazy in the confectionery store, buying candy and stuff like that. And then before we went to the train station, my hubby, he bicycled up with the parcels from our job, and we have to deliver we don't have a postal office any longer, so we deliver our mail in a supermarket next to a bakery. So he just on the way back grabbed a big loaf of bread, And then what happened was that we were late to the movie because of the train. And then we're sitting inside the cinema, really hungry. And then my hubby is flinging out this loaf of bread. And then he's like, "You invented the wheel." He's like, "I got food," you know. And my son, he was, "Oh my God, you guys are so embarrassing. I can't take you guys anywhere. You're not gonna sit and eat a loaf of bread in the cinema." But I guess me and my hubby, we got like no pride left at all in our life. So we just split that loaf of bread in half. And then we're sitting there chewing on this half loaf of bread in the cinema. And what was on my mind was that, downtown, you can barely drop a crumb of bread before a whole herd of 40 pigeons will emerge from subground and underground and holes in the walls, raw, and you eat your little crumb. So I was actually sitting in the cinema with all these crumbs falling on my chest, using my my rack as a plate almost, thinking about, I wonder when the herd of 40 pigeons is gonna just emerge from the cinema walls and attacking me and my hubby. But anyway, we were sitting there eating our loaf of bread while the Riddler, the movie of Batman is all about the Riddler. And because he's the Riddler, he asks a lot of riddles during the movie. And of course, we guessed along. One of the riddles was, the less of these you have, the more one is worth. And we talked about it on our way home, what each of us was thinking. And of course, my son, he's like really cool. He figured it out right away. Like, of course, he's an orphanage. He's friendless. He don't have any friends. So of course he's talking about friends. And my hubby said that I actually thought he was talking about money, because the Riddler was also really focused on uh, Bruce Wayne being like a millionaire and could afford a lavish lifestyle. And I was actually thinking time, like, could it be days? Like the older you get, the more scarce time becomes. So you enjoy that one day that you have. So it was just fun. Let's see, maybe you can start a new trend: bread instead of popcorn. Oh my god. It would be really hard for me to trick my brain into thinking bread is M&M's. I know. Hi Mariah, what brand of composition book I am using? I'm okay. I decorated this up uh, for Eileen because she's really focused on thongs. So I got like a thong closure on. So I can't see. I no longer can see the brand, but I think it's a regular. Let me see. I think it's this one actually. It's just a regular college ruled 100-sheet composition book. It was gifted to me. I think the books are sold in Walmart for $1 to maybe $3, depending on what time of year. It's made out of paper where they don't chop down. This is the logo for they're not chopping down the rainforest, right? Is it also that in the US? I don't know. It says Walmart. I think they are pretty much on sale whenever it's like school time. Lena, that is Carol, Mariah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I, I keep switching those two channel names up. I'm sorry, Carol. Let's see. So 100 pages, which means that if you glue 2 pages together, you will end up with 50 pages comp book. And that's how I think a lot of people like to work, because comp books have very thin pages, so you get bleed throughs a lot. Like here, I just doodled something with a pastel, and look, can you see there is a significant bleed through? So imagine that I took the time to glue these 2 pages together. The bleed through is still there, but it's more like a ghostly. I could work on a page like this and not be bothered about that ghostly bled through. So 50 pages if you are gluing pages together. But if you're not gluing pages together, you will have this really nice fluffy sound. Let me just fluff through some of the. Listen to this. Can you hear this crinkling sound? Is it just delicious? That is so good. Um, let's see. Okay, but that's my take on how I think I will work in this particular comp book for 2022, because I tried other setups in the Lynda Barry style. And why do I think that this is still Lynda Barry? Because it's working with images, it's something you heard, something you saw, and it's wall to wall crayon. So let's see. Uh, I'm pretty sure they were bought at Walmart along with huge amounts of Pop Tarts. Yes, they're so good. Yes, it is hard when you're live streaming to what is called like multitasking. I'm going to check out this Lynda Barry. Oh, cool. Okay, guys, let's talk about my book here. I did the decorate. Remember on my last stream, I ruined the first page because it's always tough to work on the first page in a journal. So it kind of sets the tone sometimes for the whole journal. So that's why I ruined it up and then trusted myself that I will come back and work on top of it. And that's what I've been doing this week. I have been trying to work on top of this. I broke it up with a tab here. So it's a different page than the rest of them. I'm not done with it yet. I just, it's an ongoing thing. And then here I plan to put in a secretarial pocket to grab notes and stuff. Then I watched on YouTube that Lynda Barry has an exercise when she's zoning in, like like listening to a book or something. Then she take a lot of line works, and then in the video she used watercolor, and it was the stream was called a Lynda Barry YouTube upload images and making comics watercolor and pen line tutorial. So it's actually one of her tutorials looking like this. So then I did a live stream, ended up with this page, and then I tried to put in some headliners so I know what's going on. It was a live stream. I scribbled Monster Jam from that's just the chapter from her book. And this is what I did. And then I tore out a piece. I didn't want to resketch this one, so I just ripped it out, glued it in, and left me with like half a ripped page. So I put in some transparency. And then I wrote the name of the book that we were working from. Making comics. Look, I'm not inventing anything. I'm just copycatting, like copying her fonts and her things. Wrote that it was page 61. And then this is also different. Remember last I only had these 3 drawings made? Well, I just colored it in very lightly. I don't know if it shows, but it's like very lightly yellow background. And then I gave myself a note board, because sometimes in chat a lot of things is just happening so fast, so I forget it if I don't write it down. So I want to, whenever I'm working on a page spread on a live stream, I want to go back when the stream is over and prettify it, like with all these chapter naming what we're working on, color in the background, giving it titles and dates, and also keep a noteboard. And a noteboard is everything that's been said, like Janet said. Pick number 4 because he's easy to draw. And then Janet also said that she would really like to know what happened in his life since he became a tax collector. So, and then also Barbara Chicken Pot Pie Society said that his glasses are held together with tape. And I really love that because it's a visual of his personality, like, not that he's poor. It's just he don't like to mingle outside in society. So if his glasses breaks, he don't want to go out to the mall to get it fixed. He would rather just tape them together with washi tape. So let's see. Uh, a grumpy tax collector named Janet said, "Yeah, that's what I said. I want to know what happened in his life that took all positive energy from him and made him into a tax collector." And the sentence took all the positive and squeezed him and suppressed him until he became a tax collector. Those words create images in my brain, so I need to write it down. And then I kind of picked his name should be Norman because it was mentioned in chat, and there's something beige about that name Norman, so it would go well with a color scheme to him. So these sticky notes here are like important clues to establish his personality. So that's why I think after each stream, if we draw something, I should go back and make like a note board. But I actually have been working a little bit with Norman after we left. Meanwhile, back to Norman Grump. Halloween ended weeks ago. Take off that stupid costume. That was in 1982. He spent 1997 just dancing. He was just like a dancing queen with a tutu and everything. And then in 2021, he was entering the theater, the local theater, where he got the opportunity to take on red shoes, probably because he was in this setting of Wizard of Oz. You never know. But he tried high heels for the first time. Then we got his mom talking to another lady on the road, and the mom is saying, Norman's great great grandfather was a tax collector for the Queen, and his great grandfather was the treasury manager in Austria, and his grandfather a tax minister. So, like his dad, Norman is going to business school and become the next tax collector in the family. We are all so proud. It cracked me up. But I'm trying to build up this character where what's going on in his family is that he's inheriting his position as a tax collector as something that's going to be pushed upon him, even though that he is showing tendency to a totally different direction in his life. Let's see. Can you tell I didn't have a good visit with the accountant yesterday? What happened? Let's see. Okay, I need to see the chat. Oh, thank you, Devon. Yeah, Janet's monsters, they're super awesome. I love when you're just drawing from the top of your head, like whatever brings you to mind. And I think it's so funny that you name them, and we also talk about the occupation because that's what you need to put in some life to characters. And then I think it could be fun if I'm going to stream a lot about this Lynda Barry that I picked a character so we all know. Like Lynda Barry talks about Mr. Banana, like it's a toy that a kid had, but we can all picture Mr. Banana behind our eyes. I want to do the same with my character. So whenever I say his name, I should get a picture of him from certain ages in his life, like when he's young, when he's old, and stuff like that. So let me see. If one of my children became a tax collector, I'd love it to have his brain removed. Yeah, Okay, but that's one spread, and then I have this other spread, and that's Norman going to high school, I think. And then I like to start my Linda Barry drawings with a what if, when, like ta-da. So when is always like something that really happened, and what if headliner is when you're thinking abstract fantasies, like what if an ass really could have ears and fly? I mean, what would it look like in our nature books? And would they be like animals you were not allowed to shoot because they were conservated by something, like would people stuff them out and hang them on their walls? They probably would. So that could be like a what if page. But when is always something that happened. When you learn that we are all different in goals and opinions. And then I just draw a quick sketch of Norman, and he's looking more and more like a monkey, I think. He listen, it's all thing that he hears. Well, I couldn't marry someone who wasn't rich. And then she's saying, I know, right? Nothing wrong with being practical. And then these two down here, he's saying, my girlfriend wants us to get the pink car. And then he's asking, you don't like the pink Chevy? And then he's saying, what? Do I look gay? And then these three guys here, hey, did you hear that Melvin works in a flower shop? Oh my God, it cracked me up. He is so gay. And then I put in that he's thinking, oh, I got to get those pink dots removed. And then out from the distance, he hear chick flicks movies sucks. So it's just, setting up the story. Let's see. I have to go hang out with hubby now. Thanks, Lena, for inspiration and laughs. Oh, have a great day, Devin, and happy Easter to you and your family. Yeah, happy Easter to all of you. Let's see. I don't think that I'm missing out on something. I'm looking for CB. She's not here yet. But CB, if you are listening, happy birthday. But that's what I managed to do in my comp book. And then I was looking at images because we were talking about monsters. I was looking at the artist Archimboldo. Giuseppe Archimboldo. He is from the Renaissance, and he is well known for his vegetable drawings. Could you call it that? Like he takes fruit, berries, vegetables, and make portrait like fruit monsters out of them. Let me see if I can hold it up. So I just printed this out from the internet. But oh my God, can you see? We got some funny looking monsters right there. He is so innovative. I mean, he's like the father of surrealism when you are told that he's from the Renaissance. He was born in Milan in 1526. That's in Italy, right? And then he went to Prague. Oh, will it focus? No, maybe if I do like this. Really bad of me of showing this. But I was thinking about, oh, that could be fun. What a fun universe. So I did try to first do in collage. We got these sticker books and it looks like crap. I don't even know how to rescue this. I could try and draw on top of it, but I just uh, deserted it. And then I realized, okay, you can't do it in collage because you need the same image but from different angles, and you don't often have that in stickers. So I just tried to draw with colored pencil my own version of uh, Akimboldi portrait. But I think it's such a cute monster because they're not evil, and even though he looks like he's conniving, like there's still like nothing harmful about him. So man, I have to say that I want to work more with this really abstract style. And I think I want to do it because I can see that right now I'm developing my character more and more into a monkey that looks like a person, right? And that's kind of me misunderstanding the whole concepts of monsters, because when I revisit Lynda Barry's book and her chapter about monsters, it's supposed to be more crazy. It's supposed to be wilder. It's supposed to be. Let me find some good examples. Doo, doo, doo. Like this simple, um, and also without legs and arms. And why can't I find an example when I need one? Ugh. But I think you guys know what I mean. Like, if I'm really gonna study this monster universe, then why the heck am I starting to draw something that looks like a human or a monkey just standing up, walking around? So I should break up that thing and then start from scratch. And a way to start from scratch would be to depict Norman done in vegetables, I think, for my case. Okay, I'm looking. Like, here we got monsters. Crazy dude wearing a knife, a glove, a sausage. I wouldn't be surprised if you could like add legs and arms to this sausage. Elephant look-alike, whatnot. There was this perfect. Was it in this Making Comics? I actually think it was in this book here. Yeah. In this book, Making Comments, comic, she has some monsters that are like dark and doesn't really make sense kind of monsters. Like how does I think I don't have to ask myself the questions like, how does this get around? It needs some legs. How does this pick up things? It needs branches as arms. I need to stop asking that my monsters should have qualities like walking, grabbing. It just basically need a big mouth so it can eat another monster, or look scary and show some teeth. So it can be like a abstract glob or something. Because then I'm really exploring a side of creativity that I don't feel that I can walk in easily. It's difficult. It's harder than you think to come up with a monster that you pick. Like, who says that a monster only got like one head? It can be like multiple headed, multiple eyes, geometric shaped. So this one is just so awesome. I mean, I really love this. I love that the horn up here, like a misunderstood unicorn, and not even sharp teeth, and no arms, but chunky feet. So yeah. If you decide Norman is a married man, his wife should look like a like a blow up doll. Oh my god. Yeah. And he should have like a guinea pig, so it cost him $2 for each time he used it. Oh my god. And all of these books are all glued together pages. Um, are you talking about these that you purchase? I'm not sure. I think they seem to me to be a different kind of paper than the papers in the real composition book. Let's see. Darn Amazon cart, it's getting full. I'll save it for later. Okay, but I think a comp book is usually in 200 pages, right? And these books are exactly 200 pages. So it's not glued together pages. This is really 200 pages.
on both sides paintings. I wouldn't be surprised if she handed in a comic book for the printer and said, "This is my book," and then he just had to copy from page to page. Hi, Amber. So I really think that I should work more with that abstract vegetable monster. I tried to make this in colored pencil. I'm sorry, and it wasn't bad. It was not like I ran out of ideas. There's a lot of vegetables that I don't even know the name of. So I think it's easy to just pick some vegetable, group them together, and then try and make a complete new monster that maybe something like this. I really like this guy up here, this chubby one. He is so perfect. Like two onions as his cheeks, like. So I think that this week that we are entering, I'm going to try and make a new page spread about what's going on in Norman's life and introduce him to a character that's built up by vegetables. Oh, and here I have a page spread here where I want to try to glue in some marker paper. It's all about testing out this comp book, right? I got some marker papers and they're very transparent. You can actually, I mean, they're like really super transparent. No, that's a bad example. Let me find something with text. What about the book? Okay, super transparent. So if you like still having the line work of the comp book, I was thinking about I could glue in the marker sheets and I would still have the line work. So it's almost like the paper is not there, right? Can you see? It's almost like it's not there. But I want to test out if it will prevent the bleed through in areas where I want to work with markers. So that's going to be what I'm going to play with this week. I'm going to see if I can um, make it a better tool to use marker papers in this comp book pages, because if you see even these Tombow markers, it's a water soluble marker, and I actually used it to color in the Riddler, and then I flipped the page and then I could see it just bled through like crazy. And that annoys me a little bit. So my next page spread out will be me using the Tombow markers and the real alcohol markers on these prepped pages and see if that works better. And if it seems to be very likable, then that might be the way to do it. Come forward in time. I can't really. I love the marker paper. The finish is so nice to work on. It really is. Yes, it really is. Norman's best friend would definitely be an eggplant. Yeah, with that, that really like belly, and also I love the colors of eggplant. I mean, that's just a nice color to work with. I love the veggie guys. Yes. And it also have to be, if it's a person that's going to be introduced a lot in Norman's life, I think I should choose someone who is easy to draw over and over again, because you have to maybe see the person from different perspective, like sideways, frontal, maybe from the back. So it's really fun to have an eggplant as Norman's friend. So I love the marker paper. Yeah. But should I just jump into it and start sketching the eggplant friend of Norman, and then okay, here I can't really tell if it's bleeding through because I got black gesso and then all the collage stuff on top. here I got the marker paper and then just the comfort paper. So let me try and take a marker and then try and sketch out the eggplant. Let me see if I got more eggplant color. Mm. Let's see. Okay, we have to keep the tombos because we have to test them out too. Let me just make a frame with the tombos. Oh, that was wonky. Let's see. Oh my God, now I'm getting really nervous. Colleen just went on live. Uh, I'm streaming on Friday because I thought that she moved. So now I am sorry if I'm butting in on your time slot, Colleen. It's unintentionally. I didn't know that you wanted Thursday and Friday. So I have to talk to Colleen about if she's going to stream Thursday and Friday, and then maybe come back with another day of streaming if that's so. Okay, let's check it out. Tombos didn't bled through at all. Did you see how the marker paper just catch it? That's so cool. Let me use the green one that bled so terribly through on my Riddler drawing. I'm going on top of the saturated. It's still moist, you know. So when you are putting multiple layer of Tombow on the same spot, it will bleed through normally. No. Oh, then it's totally out of frame. Ah, let me get focus back on. Yeah, it freaks out the paper that I the camera that I'm on white paper. What if we take? I seem to have these issues when I'm opening up a white spread, then my camera just freaks out. Let's see. Don't worry, they streamed yesterday at the regular time. Yeah, I think so. Stay with your time. She said, "Yeah, I'm gonna stay. I hope I won't step on anyone's toes." It's new for me and Laurie to stream on Friday, so we're both just trying it out. You know, didn't bleed through. Oh my God! I think we got a winner. I'm talking marker paper. It's not expensive. This is from Canson. It's very affordable brand. You get a ton of sheets. There's like 100 sheets in this paper pad. Oh, I ripped off the price. But as usual, sleep on it and then consider it tomorrow. Let's try the alcohol marker. And we want to draw this aubergine. Should I pick like a purple? I don't have like aubergine color, so I'm gonna make the friend purple. I love it when the eyes are like poking out of the shape. And then maybe this kind of okay, I'm thinking it's a young person, so he could have like a tomahawk or something up here. and always like lazy eyes because that's how teenagers are, right? Like they're never really that much awake. That could be the start of him. Let's see if he bled through. No, that's not bad. You know what? I'm going to adopt this. When I'm doing my journal spreads, I think it's so fast and easy to do the borders and the filling of the colors with alcohol-based markers or water soluble, the really like saturated white filled pen like Tombow. If I'm not working with crayons, sometimes crayons is okay. It's got the crayon look. Like, can you see this streaky? I like the look of crayons, but sometimes you want to switch it up, use markers instead. This is crayon. Love the borders. But if you're going for that black, crayons is not the solution because you would need to solve it up with water. Let me show you. I could get it like super black. It's important with these visual things because it's the visual things that's gonna make you like the page spread and make you want to flip back and look at it one more time. So can you see how much it matters to dissolve the crayon, Neocolor crayon? But I'm actually going over this twice now. First when I added the crayon and now where I'm dissolving it. So if we have to do this Lynda Barry in sort of kind of a hurry because it's not a journal that you really it's not like masterpieces, I'm thinking that why spend twice the time on a border when you can do it in one swipe with a black marker. So that's why I'm interested in making the substrate receive markers. uh, Love how you make the expressions with the eyes. Thank you. Eyes and eyebrows. Oh man, I'm telling you, you can do a lot with eyebrows. Look like if we want this one to be a little bit surprised, you can have eyebrows that's standing out. They don't really have to be attached to his body. Now he's like he's commenting on something, then his mouth could be just like this. But let me block this in with color and see how the back of the page will solve it. Before I do so, because I am like I am, I'm thinking about what could this page spread evolves into. This is Norman's best friend in, I would say, high school. What could they be talking about? Let me see. I just painted a thin layer of white gesso on my page and my alcohol markers did not bleed through. That's a good tip. That's a super good tip. I used black gesso here. Oh my god. Here. Yeah. I used black gesso here. And I really liked uh yeah, that gritty surface I got to work on top with colored pencils. So it's like the pencil acts differently when it's on a gesso surface compared to when it's on the comp books, very slick pages. So black gesso is what I've tried so far. I should try some gesso. I also got clear gesso. Yeah, see guys, it's getting better and better. So if you buy the comp book and you are a little bit disappointed about the quality of the paper, there are solutions with clear gesso, white gesso, gluing it together with marker paper. And the reason why I love the marker paper is because it's so skinny and thin, so it doesn't take up lots of bulk in your journal. And it's just an add-on for those areas where you know that you would like to work with a different media on top. But can you see how I'm just effortless? It's blocking in super fast, even going over this blue alcohol eyebrow here. Can you see how fast you can work with markers? And speed is, I won't say important. I'm just trying to say that if you are if you're fast with your images, they become more alive. And Lynda Barry talks about it in syllabus about kids drawing got a very fresh line work, and it's likable to look at, and it's more comical to look at because you are adding on things. Like here I'm thinking, what if I needed to add on like an arm or a back or something. The way that kids drawing are just impulsively adding on stuff afterwards is fun to look at, you know. It takes the pressure out of it just takes the pressure out of this kind of drawing. Like here he's holding a bag. So I also think that if you take a lot of time and you have things worked out before you start drawing, then it's not so impulsive, and you may shut down for uh, crazy stuff. You know, like it's so easy to muck this up with add-ons that you put in because it's not a pretty drawing and it's done super fast. So I think markers is the way to go. Even though I love watercolor, I just think it would take a lot of time to use watercolor in this Lynda Barry book. It's more like crayons, alcohol markers. Hi, Journey. The gesso don't mess with your markers. I don't like to use markers on top of gesso because it's like the pigment sucks in and get diluted. So sometimes the red is not as vibrant in its color because it's getting soaked into the gesso. So Journey Stoveman, welcome to my house. I'm only going to be here like 15 minutes more because Bob Owens, she streams on her Drama for You Friday. So I like to watch her. She's just a gem on YouTube. So I'm closing down my stream in I think like 5 or 10 minutes. So you guys can go out and get some coffee and be first in her chat saying hello. Oh my god! Last Friday I was first in her chat, and then because I wanted to write it so fast, I did a typo. So I ended up writing fist in chat. It cracked me up. And especially because I just that week saw this YouTube upload about what is his name? I keep forgetting his name. He has a trial. It's one of the actors from a TV series where he stated his own attack or something, and then he was put to trial, and then when he was sentenced he turned around and said something about fisting the courtroom. And I was dropping my jaw like, oh my god, did he really say that? And then I almost do the same on Bob's stream. I fist a stream. Juicy Smollett, that's his name. Juicy Smollett, yeah, that's his name. But his entry, I mean, forever, it takes a lot for people to shock me now if there's showing footage about how people react receiving their sentence and yelling while being dragged out of the courtroom after the Juicy Smollett. I mean, he really set the bar now. So it just cracked me up. Mm. I'm thinking about he should have a name, this aubergine friend of Norman. I would like them to have a conversation, like he knows his friend, it's his best friend, you know. So I'm setting Norman up to be a cross gender, like gay, cute boy. So of course his friend would know that he's gay, and that's so funny. Like, in sometimes the family don't know. I mean, how could they not know? But their friends depict it immediately. Or how about Will Smith at the Oscars? Just, yes, Will Smith. I mean, what the heck? I was really in shock. You know what? I I got an online store. I'm selling movies. I've been in the business since, what was it? It's 21 years now. So we always watch Oscars. And the reason why we watch the Oscars is because if someone is granted special gratitude, like this year it was Godfather, for instance, we know that the sale on Godfather will increase the week after the Oscar has been viewed on TV, because that's how people are. If the Oscars mention a movie like White Man Can't Jump, then it will be on our customers' purchase list the week after, right? So we have always seen Oscars, and we have this idea about it's a very prominent high society group of people with high standards and everything. So to watch Will Smith walk up on stage, slap Chris Rock, return to his seat, being seated, and then afterwards invited back on stage and was allowed to speak longer than 3 minutes. I mean, we were just in shock. I'm telling you, that really changed the Oscar for me so much. So I had to make a painting about it to get it out of my system, and then stop looking for comments on YouTube about how other people reacted. So I tried to art it out by doing an oil painting of the slap itself. Let me see if I have the, maybe on my phone. Yeah, I changed my phones. I got a new phone, so at the moment I got two phones going on. So let me see if it was this one I took the picture with. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here it is. Look, I had to paint an oil painting. I'm not finished with it, with the whole slap situation, just to get it past my my attention span. So that's a good example of trying to art it out. Why is it not focusing? Okay, it's not really focusing. Yes, I mean, it just proves that if you're like famous and super rich, you can totally bend the rules. Hey, this page spread could actually be about. Thank you guys for talking about this on the chat. This page spread could be either about Jussie Smollett fist in the courtroom, or about the Will Smack. Because that's like current. It's what's on my mind right now. I got an opinion about it. I saw it. I heard what other people are saying about it. So that was like super, super cool. Thank you guys. I love streaming because you guys are giving me feedback, you know. So I think that we should totally work on that idea. Um, so I need to write it down. Look, I got half a notebook here saying rules. No visit from Mr. Who, and my brain is already moved on. I don't even know. No visit from who? Oh, that is spooky. Okay, Will Smith. Yes, this page spread will be about the Will Smith smack. I'm laying the book here so the glare from the white pages don't freak out the camera. And I need Mr. Aubergine also to call him Chris. This one could be called Chris. Yeah, And something about he's not hard as a rock, because could Chris take a smack? I tell you guys, I would have dropped to the floor if somebody hit me like that. Did you see the body language of the way he smacked? He had so much speed on that his whole shoulder was twisting. Like like if you slap someone and it's not hard, you will keep your position like slap, but he got it came from out of here and boom ended his shoulder, so they were like twisted, which means that he really slapped him super super hard. But Chris Rock, he really took it well. I mean, he was just keeping on his track about announcing the next nomination. So something about him not being hard as rock. um so if he had taken the slap, he would be sliced into, and then I have to figure out a name of a recipe where uh, eggplant, you slice up or you squeeze eggplant. Uh, Opskrift. Yeah, that I think the joke or the page spread will go in that direction. Let's see, and his name should be Chris. Yep. Uh, Eggplant. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, that is so good. Eggplant parmigiana. Is that when it's sliced up? Let's see. Pamigiana. Chris Rock was a total pro, but yeah, he was. Talk about being professional, right? I mean, and I saw it on slow motion. He didn't even tuck his fists. I mean, if you're getting attacked, I think your body would immediately like, you would clinch a fist, but he didn't even when you're reading his body, Chris's body language, he didn't go into attack mode. But yeah, it was just amazing. I mean, I am so unprofessional that I would be rolling around the stage with Will if I was Chris Rock. If I was up on stage doing a stand up thing, as a job, and somebody smacked me while I was up there, I would be jumping on their backs when they turned around to walk down. That's how unprofessional I am. So we actually talked about it when the Oscar was still live. Like, oh my God, did he just take it like that and was so professional about it? Because we would be like rolling on the stage, making a whole mess out of it. Yes, it would really turn out really, really ugly with me getting my butt kicked twice one night. So, oh my God. Okay, with tomato sauce, cheese, and pasta. Oh my God, Amber, can you just picture how his little friends are also tomatoes, cheese, and pasta? I am, I'm imagining a group drawing here. Men tomat, ost, og pasta. Yep. Oh, love it. I could just see you dangling off someone's back. I would totally do that. I would jump him like a kid, like what? There is an eggplant recipe called baba. I can't even pronounce baba ganoush. Ganoush. Baba ganoush. That sounds so cool. Baba ganoush. I really need to check out how that's pronounced. I'm gonna write that down in green to remember. Baba ganoush. Oh, Baba ganoush. You know what? When he's saying something about, oh, if that happened to me, I would slap him back. He could say something like, if that happened to me, I would ganoush him right back. He would be ganooshed or something. I could use this word, this strange word right here. I can use for something. That was so cool. That sounded like a body part. I know. Yes, he did play Muhammad Ali. Oh my god. Okay, I can see there's like 4 minutes until Bob goes on. So I think I should say goodbye now and thank you guys for coming to my stream. I'm sorry for it being so much show and tell and not so much action. So, but I just wanted to get past the setup of the art journal because it's so important, to find your right setup from the start and get inputs about how to work with your pages so they don't look so white and intimidating, and to see how I have worked, and also give you guys the idea about putting it in a time frame so it doesn't become like one long lifelong task, but just like a project for this summer. So thank you guys for coming to my stream, and I'll see you on Friday at noon. So have a nice Easter. Oh, thank you so much, Kathy. You guys rock. So hope you get a lot of eggs this Easter. So bye bye. See you in a week.